The Devil Myself, final scene of a stage play by Nisha. The year 1970, the place, Rule's Restaurant, Fleet Street, London. The sun rises. The news tabloid is now the highest selling paper in the world. 2 stories created this success: the death of Muriel McKay, a brutal murder sensationalized by the paper, and the introduction of putting nude women on the 3rd page. The time is late afternoon, and the chief editor of The Sun meets with its young and ambitious proprietor.
We need to slow down. I can't get behind just destroying everything and leaving nothing behind. Don't you think this is going a bit too fucking far?
Larry, what the hell are you on about? I'm trying to enjoy this shadow enough to pop.
The model we got for the page 3 ad.
Honestly, I can't tell a difference between this and Spanish funk.
He's 16, Rupert. Too young. We've got to seriously rethink our image, because if we continue to do this every day...
Oh, I know, weighs heavy on my conscience too, but it sells. Radical but necessary. New is the name of the game, and the street's time is up. We soared higher than they could have ever imagined, and the first house in the mirror has toppled. It'll be like dominoes now. Soon all that'll be left to remind us they were ever there are tombstones. Here lies... That's good. Here lies... Fuck, ain't that the truth. Find about Dockland at the East End. Thinking we can move the offices there by the weekend and start fresh on Monday. Somewhere we can strategize and economize. Oh, I know. You'll be missing the clubs and the bars and the restaurants of London. You shouldn't worry. There'll be always something there to remind you.
I didn't come into this thinking we're going to create a graveyard. You came to me saying we need to reform, and now we're destroying. We're not creating anything. We can't just keep on tearing down every institution.
Why can't I?
Exactly. Tell me one good reason that I should stick my fucking neck out for this. To go all the way. Why are we doing this?
There's no why anymore, Larry. You killed why just as you had to. Why was the source of their power. Churches, schools, trade unions, newspapers. Well, why is gone now? We can focus properly on who, what, where, and when.
My father believed in why.
I'm sure he believed in our page 3 girls too. No, he was a good man, one of the best newsmen. He would have been proud of you. I'm proud of you. We should start schmoozing the Tories, this new virgin government. Fatten them up and see how long they roast. Not Ted Heath, gosh, not enough to kill your appetite. No, get Erin Eve, give him an opinion piece. An impressive bird from education, what's her name? Thatcher, yes, get her too.
See, this is it. We're a Labour paper, Rupert. Our readers are working people. They're not going to like a Tory government just because the Sun tells them to.
You know what I've learned, Larry? People don't actually know what they want. Or they may think something's in their best interest, but you can in fact persuade them it's the other thing instead. You taught me that.
We've got other problems. Serious problems on the floor. Some of my team, they're thinking of moving away.
No problem. I have some more. Young and hungry. Get them in and get them out. I'm thinking of moving away too, actually. Only temporarily, of course. Looking at expanding. Going to New York.
New York?
There's a television network there which I'm going to buy. American television. It's the future. You taught me that.
And you're going alone?
No rest for the wicked. Oh, didn't you get my memo? I need you here, Larry. You know, hold the fort. There's so much more to be done.
Do you still think about her?
What, Muriel, of course. I still think the paper should do some sort of memorial edition. Yes, we sensationalize that tragedy, but doesn't mean we can't grieve the real person. Our deputy editor deserves to see his wife get a proper burial service. Don't you think?
Muriel's death was a one-time event. But we're picking up these girls.
Oh, what girls?
The one blasted over page 3 today, and yesterday, and then it'll be tomorrow. Christ, I don't even know how many there's been now. Every day it's a roll call. Sometimes, stupidly, I thought I could close it. Stop it before it went too far. Exploiting misery for one day is one thing, but doing it daily.
Well, what can you do, Larry? People like it.
You don't. You don't, Rupert. You can't even bear to look at it. Go on. Look at it.
I look at it every day, every page.
We should stop, shouldn't we?
Stop! You know, before that terrible business with Muriel's murder and that photo shoot with the girl, it was you. You were the one. It was you who persisted where I was on shore.
I may be a thug, Rupert, but I'm not a hypocrite.
I know. After all, I made you up, didn't I?
History invented our success, not you.
Well, if you really want to be highfalutin then, at this time, at this place, I am history. Or at least the creator of the record.
Yeah, I can see that now. Now that it's towering over me.
In black and white, Larry, in black and white.
I remember my dad always used to say to me, true history comes long after us. That's when it will be decided. Whether or not we measured up, and our greatness or its lack will be defined.
True history, Larry, is the final fiction. I thought even you knew that. Oh, well, nearly time for me to fly away.
It's going to be with me forever, isn't it? That's my legacy. That'll be in my tombstone, my obituary. What's the headline going to be?
It's a good story. People like stories. You taught me that.
Amazing, thank you. And next up we have The Interviews, which is a stage play by Milo.
Michael enters the stage. Therapist is already seated.
So, Michael, begin when you're ready.
This thing happened at work. I'm terrified.
When he says this, on come Naomi and Charles, accompanied by two guards. One is Michael.
Why did you kill those people?
And why should I tell you?
We can see Charles and Naomi talking, but cannot hear it. Everything on stage freezes, and we hear the therapist.
So, what exactly happened, Michael?
Well, they were talking, and then all of a sudden they were shouting.
Michael returns to his position on stage. We hear the sound of ears ringing.
Are you okay? Hello?
We can now hear Charles and Naomi.
What did he say?
I said, I would hate for anything to happen to your brother.
Lights turn on. Blackout. When they turn back on, a few seconds later, Charles is on the floor, and Naomi is restrained by Michael and the other guard.
And now we have A Road to Repentance, which is a stage play by Tiffany, and she's going to tell you a bit about the play before reading the final scene to you.
So, to give background on this play, I will talk about the overall story and the main character. So the main character is a criminal, and her story is that she goes on a journey to find, as the title suggests, repentance, redemption, but she tries to do it in her own way, and she finds out through her journey and at the very end that her way is not the right way. And in the final scene, you will see what she decides to do, what her final action is. So I will read the final scene, and then I will just briefly go over the scene that happens before at the very end, just to explain, just to give more context for the final scene. So this is the final scene. Main character, Dawn. Dawn is running, not actually moving. She stays put in the one spot. Behind her, on the projection, her shadow grows bigger and contorts from a human shape to a more monstrous one. There's a sound of a yowling that picks up to a higher pitch as the shadow grows until it covers the entire screen and the screen goes black. Dawn, with a scream, collapses to the floor. The lights dim, the stage is dark. Dawn. What? You're... Dawn raises her head. Dawn. You're not... Slowly she gets up and faces the projection. The lights gradually come back. The shadows come back, smaller, but it still has the monstrous form it took. Dawn. You're me. The shadow becomes human again. Dawn turns around to face the audience, her shadow maintaining its shape. Dawn. I've been doing this all wrong. I shouldn't even be out. I killed those people. It wasn't a monster. It was me. Dawn suddenly gets her phone out of her pocket and starts to call a number. Dawn. Hello? 99. And that is the end of that scene. So, to also explain the monster, it's not a real monster. It's more metaphorical. It represents her mental state, her subconscious. So with that knowledge, looking back on that scene, it's basically her subconscious catching up with her and telling her to turn herself in. And the scene that is right before that scene, it's a confrontation with her old partner in crime, because remember, obviously, Dawn is a criminal, and she did sort of ally herself with another person. So she had a confrontation with this person, and she ends up killing him, which triggers this sort of revelation and this mental anguish, which leads to the final scene. And it's the trigger moment for her and for her realization.
So beautifully explained there. Well done, Tiffany. And now we have Rats, which is a screenplay by Chris. Exterior, bar, rainy night. Two partners in crime, Gerald and Tim, walk into a bar on a street corner. Interior, bar, main room. Gerald and Tim walk up to the counter to meet the bartender.
Ah, gentlemen. Gerald Robinson and Tim Cold, if I remember. What can I do for you?
Show us the goods.
Give us a second. We have one more interested party coming.
Suddenly, the door opens and another man, John, appears.
Ah, there he is. John Locke.
John glares at Gerald and Tim as he walks past.
John Locke here has been interested in the parcel for quite some time.
Let's hope we can reach a compromise.
Let's not waste any more time. Come on.
The bartender walks past the counter and presses a button beside his locked door. The door opens and the bartender leads the three men downstairs. Interior, bar, underground area. The bartender leads the trio into a room laced with metal walls and into a room where many secure boxes sit mysteriously in every corner.
Could you give me a minute to get the parcel?
The bartender walks through a door at the back of the room and disappears from the scene. The three men stand, staring at each other intensely. This goes on for a very long time. Finally, the bartender reappears carrying a parcel as well as 3 drinks. The bartender places the parcel on the floor.
Here, fellas, I got you some drinks. I presume you're all okay with malt beer?
The 3 men do not say a word. The bartender opens the parcel and pulls out a gleaming, beautiful piece of jewellery.
This beauty goes at about 2 million last time I checked. If you don't mind, I might give a little history lesson. I used to be a historian after all, until, well, that's a story for a different time.
The 3 men look completely stiff and serious, holding the beers in their hands. John Locke starts to drink his beer.
This long-lost beauty was made in the 16th century, during the time of Henry VII. Its name is peculiar, Saxum de Rat, which means rock of the rat in Latin. It may have got its name due to a number of factors, including...
Suddenly, John Locke drops his beer, chokes and falls to the ground, withering. The beer glass smashes on the floor as both Gerald and Tim pull out pistols and point them at the bartender.
You poisoned him.
Oh, crap. Well, he was untrustworthy.
John shakes and convulses on the ground, slowly dying.
Probably poisoned our drinks too.
No, I did not. See, here's the thing.
Suddenly, Tim shoots the bartender's legs and he falls to the ground.
We can't trust you anymore.
No, you don't get it. I didn't poison your drinks. I promised John's, or I poisoned John's because he was dangerous. He was trying to betray me. He couldn't be trusted, but I trusted you.
Tim walks up to the bartender and Gerald observes the 2 remaining malt beers.
Well, you know what they say. In this line of work, you can't trust anyone, eh?
Tim shoots the bartender again, killing him. Then he walks forward and picks up the jewellery. Behind him, Gerald observes the 2 malt beers running a poison check on them. After a minute, he shouts over to Tim.
Hey Tim, I just tested these beers for any type of contamination and they seem clean. I don't think the seller is trying to harm us.
A close-up of Tim's face as he looks conflicted about something.
Hey Tim, what is it?
Suddenly, Tim pulls out his gun and shoots Gerald twice. His body falls to the floor dead. Tim picks up the jewellery and takes a final look at the corpse of the bartender, then the corpse of John Locke, and finally Gerald's corpse.
I'm sorry.
Taking the jewellery with him, he leaves. Interior, bar, main room. Tim walks out of the door into the upstairs of the bar and notices another man, Harold Troll, sitting at the end of the counter.
You have it?
Of course.
Done well.
Tim takes out the jewellery and gives it to Harold, who smiles and puts it in a bag.
I want my reward now. The money for giving you the prize, plus the money for the killing of Gerald Robertson and John Locke.
You had the seller killing for you, didn't you?
Yes, but I killed him too.
You know, the name of this thing's really interesting. Rock of the Rat. Rats are such interesting creatures. They don't care for others as long as they get what they want, and are willing to climb over the body of their fellow species.
Please, the money.
Yes, just give me a second.
Suddenly, Harold pulls out a gun and shoots Tim, knocking him to the ground.
So why wait to be stepped over by others' ambitions when you can take matters into your own hands?
Harold shoots Tim again, killing him.
Good day doing business with you, Tim.
Harold walks out of the bar. The end. Okay. And now we have Stanicek, Portrait of a Morning Clown by Jay. And Jay is going to perform it for us as well, and it's a play. Empty stage except for a picture of the titular Jan Machenko painting. Stanicek enters.
200 years ago, the Polish painter Jan Matejko
immortalised me in oil pig. It's not the most flattering angle.
He produces a small mirror and begins drawing on crude clown makeup in red paint.
500 years ago, I was a celebrity. Witty and wise, I was employed by 3 Polish kings and loathed by countless Polish bishops. It was pretty awesome. One time the king brought a bear into court and made us all try and catch it, and then the bear tried to catch him, which was crazy. And then the king got mad at me for running away from the bear instead of trying to fight it. And then I said some really profound thing about it being daft to let the bear loose when it was already in the cage, which sounds like common sense, but it was actually a criticism of the lack of control that Poland had over Prussia. Good times. That was the usual. The king would do something boring, and I'd do something smart but kind of mean, which I would always get away with. And the audience would laugh at our expense, a little perversely at the irony, which I appreciated. With the notable exception of those pesky bishops, everybody loved me. So, 300 years after I died, they made a ton of paintings with me in them, which ended up getting stolen by the Nazis and the Russians a bunch. I'm kind of an icon.
He stops painting and takes a beat.
You know, nobody knows what my real name was. Nobody knows anything about me, really. Except for me being a clown and stuff.
He plasters on a grin.
It's hard being a national treasure.
He smears the face paint covering his mouth.
I'm at peace with that, I think. It doesn't really matter anyway.
He hesitates, as if he briefly entertains the idea that it does matter. He produces a pack of baby wipes and slowly starts to wipe off his face paint. He's not wholly successful.
You want to know the truth about that painting? I picked up a letter addressed to someone else, someone more important than me. The letter contained the news of the siege of the city of Smolensk by the Russian army. My heart dropped like a lead juggling ball. It's funny, really. I mean, I stepped off stage for a moment, just a moment, took a little break from performing, and I read one letter, and I regretted it immediately. And I just sat there, motionless, distraught, mourning for this city, maybe even my city, invaded and stolen. And then I guess I just went back to work, all smiles, always. And now I'm stuck, frozen, cast, immortalised, in a museum where people come and look and take pity on me. Look at the poor stupid clown, the poor sad clown. And sometimes they laugh too, a little perversely, at the irony, which I appreciate. It's supposed to make you laugh, after all. That's what I do. It's who I am, I think.
He stops wiping and exhales. He smiles again, meekly.
Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good.
He laughs and turns his mirror towards the audience. Blackout. And now we have a concept which we're going to explain to you, which is for an immersive Regency set murder mystery by Georgie. Georgie, do you want to come up? So some of you have pink post-it notes. If you have a pink post-it note, can you stand, please? Okay. We're going to go around in this order, and I'd like you to tell us what your names are.
Baron Flurber Ridlington.
Baron Flurber Ridlington.
Eloise Pemberton.
Eloise Pemberton.
Baroness Louisa Margarita Ridlington.
Brilliant. I'm not going to try and repeat that because I'm going to get tongue-tied.
Solomon Strickland.
Solomon Strickland.
Captain Cornelius Pike.
Cornelius Pike.
Lady Augusta Cook.
Oh, Lady Augusta Cook.
Viscount Christmas Fudge.
Viscount Christmas Fudge.
Marquis Alexander Pemberton.
Alexander Pemberton.
Viscount Sam Fudge.
Sam Pound Fudge.
Earl Ezra Huntington.
Beautiful. And then at the back?
Princess Helena Huntington.
So this would be part of the concept. You would be given characters on entering this murder mystery. I'm going to let Georgie do the rest of the explaining.
My piece is a concept.
You can sit back down, by the way.
for immersive theatre experience set on a Regency-era nobility dinner party. Guests are mourning the loss of the Duke Richard Rosewood, who has recently passed away, and all his friends and family have gathered together to have a dinner to celebrate his life. However, as audience members go into the night and they speak to more and more of the guests, they soon realize that this death was not an accident, and it is their job to then figure out who killed the Duke. Audience members will all have characters, so they will not know who is an actor and who's just there like for fun as well. The dinner would be a traditional Regency dinner with 4 courses, and then afterwards the hostess would lead the ladies to a drawing room to freshen up and enjoy gossip, and the gentlemen would stay in the dining room to enjoy alcoholic beverages while discussing unladylike topics. Then the men would join the ladies, chattering, flirting, playing games and cards with tea, and then finally they would have a small after-dinner dance where the killer would finally be revealed.
Do you want to tell us about some of the characters?
Some of the characters would be the new Duke, Frederick, who resented his father for pressuring him too much, as he was next in line to be the next Duke. He felt that his father took away his childhood, and as he wasn't allowed to play with his siblings when he was younger. He also despised his father for never expressing any love towards him, and he never told him he was proud of him, which really upset Frederick. Another character would be the Dowager Duchess Louisa, who was the wife of the late Duke, but recent speculation has been going around that she might have not been as loyal to the Duke and her marriage as first thought.
So that would be the idea.
Yeah.
That's just a taste of the concept and the amazing world that Georgie has built this week. And I don't know about you, but I would buy tickets. So you've got to make that happen. But thank you. Okay, and next up we have My Great-Granddaughter by Rosie, which is a stage play set in 2023. The scene opens with Chef sitting on a chair in the middle of an otherwise empty stage. His head is down, but after a few moments, he looks up, hesitates, and begins his monologue.
I've worked as a chef for 25 years. I've worked in restaurants, I've catered at parties, weddings, funerals. Of course, I can't remember everything. Of course, there are details that escape me now. But I think I'd remember catering a party where someone had died, where someone had been murdered. I don't know this woman. I've never catered her party.
The policeman gives him a barely perceptible nod and Chef exits, leaving the chair which the policeman turns to face the audience, before placing his head down, indicating his lack of presence for a moment. Olivia enters and takes her place on the seat.
My niece was... She was formidable. We were close. I love her dearly, but I mean, there was a whole side to her that I didn't know. She even had a daughter, one which we, her family, never knew and still don't know the whereabouts of. What I'm trying to say is she's mysterious, dark even, but involved in a murder. No, there's simply no way. With me, that's where she was December 6th, 2005. The whole day, and the night I went out, it was my mother's birthday. I wanted to take her somewhere nice. I bought her this purple dress, and she was so excited to wear it. She was 80, you know. My niece was tired and she stayed home.
She gets up and exits and is replaced by the husband. He sits opposite the policeman.
December the 6th, 2005. That's the day it happened. That's when. I assumed it was an accident, a tragedy, and now this new evidence? I never would have thought it was a murder. Never. And poison. My wife. Who would want my poor wife gone? She barely left the house. She confined herself to just a small group of friends. I just don't understand. It still hurts. 18 years later. I just want answers.
The husband exits with his shoulders slumped and his head in his hands. He's replaced by Olivia.
All right. I know why you're asking this about her. They were good friends. My niece and the girl who died that night. And their friendship was rocky and they fought, but of course they did. Who doesn't? It was just unfortunate timing, a coincidence that they fought that particular night, but I can assure you, my niece, she was nowhere near that party, those people. She was at home, like I said.
Olivia takes a long pause in which she stares at the policeman in an attempt to read him. When he makes no attempt to reply, she continues.
And yeah, okay, she was alone. And yes, I know how that looks, but she couldn't. This is ridiculous. Trying to solve a mystery and your main suspect is dead herself, a victim herself. Just ridiculous.
She storms off stage angrily and is replaced by an unsure-seeming teen. The teen takes her seat opposite the policeman, who hands her a series of photos. She leaves through them casually.
I don't know any of these people. In my family, I never knew them. December 6th was my birthday, and in 2005 I wasn't born. Does that answer all your questions?
She stares unimpressed at the policeman, who returns the stare but blankly.
My favourite colour is purple. I want to go to France someday.
The policeman puts up his hand to stop her.
Great, so enough personal questions. Can I leave?
The teen exits without waiting for a response. She is replaced by the friend, who takes a seat.
So you want to know what I know about that night? Well, a third party. December 6th, 2005. My oldest friend's birthday. She turned 80. She came with her daughter, Olivia, and she was wearing purple. She loved purple. It was a beautiful purple dress that Olivia had bought her.
She pauses as she spots something at the top of the policeman's pile of photos.
May I? Look, there she is, my Angela. She was like a big sister to me, you know. I just wanted to do a nice thing for her. I just wanted to throw her a nice party. And then, a poor girl. It wasn't her dying enough, I mean poison. Really. It was none of my guess, I assure you. That poor, poor girl. She was friends with Angela's granddaughter, Sarah, but Sarah wasn't there.
She trails off but meets the policeman's eyes. He nods, urging her to go on.
Well, she had a child, you know, and none of the family knew. It was 2007, the year Angela died, and the baby was born December 6th, Angela's birthday. Sometimes I like to imagine that the baby was her, kind of like reincarnated, I suppose. So I'll admit, I became invested and I visited them often, Sarah and the baby. But when she passed, the baby was taken away, and her family, Olivia, the baby's father, never knew she was born, and I don't know what was wrong with her.
The friend looks up at the policeman's and the policeman hands her the rest of the photos. She examines them closely.
Yes, yeah, this is Olivia. This is the husband of the poor woman who died. There's me. And I know this man. How do I know this man? He catered the party that night, didn't he? He was a chef.
Yes, I remember now.
The friend is cut off by the policeman standing up abruptly and storming off stage. The friend timidly makes her way off stage while he's gone. The policeman returns, dragging the chef by the arm and flinging him onto the chair before angrily sitting down in his own seat.
Fine. I was there that night. I lied, but only because it looks bad, okay? But I can explain. I was friends with Ruby, the girl who died that night, and she was friends with Sarah, Angela's granddaughter too. And when Sarah and I started dating, Ruby disapproved, and it caused the two of them to fight. I was scared when I saw Ruby at the party of what she said to me, so I left. I ran. I didn't even know she...
He trails off and looks at the policeman, who gives him a reluctant nod, and the chef leaves. Olivia makes her own way on stage and takes the chair.
So we were at the party, my mother and I. That's where I took her the night of her birthday. We fought that night. I think I was jealous. I saw her at that party, surrounded by those who loved her, who cared about her. Her best friend even gifted her a trip to France because she knows how much she always wanted to go. I was envious and ashamed, and I could tell that my mother was enraged at me for it, but when the girl died, it didn't matter anymore.
She makes her way off stage and meets the teen as she enters. They exchange a prolonged and confused look during which something seems to be communicated. The policeman turns the vacant chair to face the audience and puts his head down. The teen breaks away from the look shared with Olivia and sits on the chair. Olivia stays behind, ever so slightly still in sight.
6th December 2022. That's when it happened. It was my birthday. My best friend bought me a purple dress and took me to my surprise party. She was jealous. I always knew that. But that day she was unbearable. She blew out the candles on my cake, opened my presents, even started responding to the questions people asked me. I just wanted to enjoy the last few hours. Just wanted her gone for a little while, just asleep. So I put something in her cake. And the other girl ate it. I never meant to poison, to kill.
She turns to face Olivia and realizes she was watching as she confessed. She flees off the stage and Olivia occupies the chair for the final time.
When I saw that girl, it was a moment of clarity. I don't know what made me so sure, but I've never been more certain of anything in my whole life that young girl is my mother. Or at least her story is my mother's. They align. The one she told just now and what happened that night, I'm the jealous friend who bought the purple dress. My mother is her. It's their birthday. They both meant to harm one person but ended up killing another. That means my mother meant it for me. She meant to put me to sleep, but had I taken the poison, my own mother would have killed me.
Thank you, Rosie. Brilliant. Okay, so next up we have Hunted, which is a short film of folk horror by Oliver.
Forest, day, 1630s. Dunno and his father Kieran walk with their hound Seamus. The forest stands eerily still. Seamus is sniffing the ground, which is coated with leaves and twigs, snapping beneath their feet. Dunno is carrying a crossbow and Kieran is carrying a pitcher. He passes it to his son.
Here.
Dunno takes a gulp of water and returns it to Kieran. He is visibly nervous, and his father, even though he isn't looking at him, notices.
Is something troubling you?
Dunno hesitates.
We're the first people to come and hunt here in years.
Aye, what of it?
I've heard tellings of an ill thing that dwells up here, punishing anything that disturbs it.
Thou is 12 years of age, son. Overaged to believe in simple fairy stories.
Dunno stops.
What if it's a witch?
Kieran finally turns to look at his son, anger evident in his eyes.
You need to learn how to hunt, son.
Suddenly, Seamus starts barking rapidly. Dunno and Kieran look ahead. They see a faultless red deer staring back at them, unsure what to do. Seamus darts at the deer, which bolts away. Dunno and Kieran run after them, desperately trying to keep their eyes peeled to the dog. The wind howls at them like a wolf, swaying the trees back and forth. For a moment, a panting Dunno loses sight of Kieran and Seamus before the latter shouts at him.
Dunno!
Dunno sprints over to his father and both jog to catch up to Seamus. They see the deer lying at a rock, exhausted, but Seamus is still running towards him.
Come, Seamus.
Seamus stops and goes back to Kieran. Kieran orders Dunno with his eyes. Dunno swallows and takes a deep breath. Still holding the crossbow, he slowly walks up to the whining creature. He draws it, closes his eyes, and fires. Cut 2. The deer's front legs and antlers are now strapped together, being carried by Kieran, while Dunno carries its back legs. Dunno's head is aching, but he does not want to inform his father. The pain gradually intensifies, and Dunno collapses to the ground, bringing the deer with him. His father rotates to see what is going on.
What art thou doing?
Before Kieran finishes the sentence, Dunno screams in anguish. Cracking can be heard as his bones begin to transform and rearrange. His arms and legs lengthen, his flesh morphs as fur grows out of it. To put an end to the agonizing metamorphosis, magnificent antlers grow out of his head. A horrified Kieran has witnessed his son's transformation into a deer. He looks over to his scowling, salivating Seamus, who points at the poor Dunno. Dunno gallops away from the dog, which is being followed in hot pursuit by an incredibly distraught Kieran. Kieran tries to call his dog to stop, but he trips and hits his head on a rock. Cut 2. Kieran wakes up and gasps. He takes to his heels immediately and dashes further into the forest.
Dunno!
He does not have to look much further. He sees his dog, eating at something. He slowly walks towards his dog. A dread builds up inside of him as he tries to convince himself what he knows has happened hasn't, but it has. In front of him are his dead son's disemboweled remains. A devastated Kieran falls to his knees and sobs uncontrollably. But he stops. He hears something. A beautiful woman in a black cloak comes from behind Kieran, but doesn't acknowledge him. Her eyes are peeled on the deer. She is ignored by Seamus as she bends down at Dunno's face. She gently strokes his head and closes his eyes. She then turns to Kieran, who remains silent.
Amazing work there by Oliver. And for our final piece, we have a play called Four People Walk into a Lift. It's a structured improv, just so you're all aware.
Floor 6.
Door open.
Here you go. Now I'll see you at the front in 20 minutes, okay?
Door closed. Door open.
Hi.
What for?
Hi. Round.
I'm going level 1. I wish it was level 2. Level 2's fun.
Okay.
You like your jeans?
Thanks.
They look like my jeans.
So they do.
Do you reckon they were twins? Do you think they got separated in the womb? The June?
All right, man. Okay. I need to make like a banana and split. I am proposing to my girlfriend this evening, okay? And I can't be having with this. And these jeans, they're from Next.
I love Next.
Hiya.
Hey,
Ground floor.
oh, yes. Where are you coming from?
Just dropping off food for my girlfriend.
Oh, fair enough. What about you?
I'm in the room for one.
Ah, okay, wonderful.
Where have you been?
Och, I was just at my wee book club with my friend Jackie, and it was wonderful. You know Jackie?
I don't know Jackie.
You don't, sorry, what's your name again?
I'm John.
Sean. No, Sean. Are you a single man yourself?
I'm not.
You're not. See Jackie. Recently widowed. I think you love her. She's... How old are you, John?
27.
27. She's a bit on the older side. She's 50, 55, 56. But she loves a younger man, so she does. And her husband,
like rich. Think about it. You consider that.
What have you been reading there?
Oh, it is a lovely wee book. Now, I like the messages kind of underneath. I think it's very inspiring wee book. You might not have actually heard of it. It's called The Art of War.
I did that for GCSE.
You did not.
I did. I got an E.
Oh, God, that's okay.
I have a signed copy.
Where did you get that?
eBay.
eBay?
30 quid.
Was it like personalised messaging?
It's got my name on the front lawn.
Oh my, you'll have to send me like that. I need me one of those.
I will, I.
You ever read The Art of War, John?
I haven't.
Oh, well, you know, it's as Sun Tzu always says, when he utilises combined energy, his fighting men become, as it were, like unto rolling logs or stones. For it is the nature of a log or stone to remain motionless on level ground, and to move when on a slope, if four-cornered, to come to a standstill, but if round-shaped, to go rolling down.
That's so true, like.
It is like, he was a wise man. Wise man, so he was. What's this sweet thing you've got here now?
Oh, I just did this way drawing class.
Oh, Claudia, you have to show us now. I love you, but
Right, okay, right.
Go on then, go on then, go on then.
Oh.
So this is a second. Hi,
Hi.
Hello.
Ground? Ground floor?
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi,
I'm good. And you?
I'm grand. What about yourself?
Where is the bank?
In the down the road, I think. I'm Kathleen. Nice to meet you.
Rami, tu passes un peu ton temps.
What does it say?
Rami, tu passes un peu ton temps.
I'm Kathleen.
Right, I'll take this. I took it at GCSE. Je m'appelle Jean.
Ah, bonjour Jean, tu parles français comme moi? Eh, tu es français.
John, you're not very good at French, are you? I went to Normandy once. Let me handle this. Je déteste calculatrice.
It's the calculator?
Toi.
What? Are you smoking? No.
Are you smoking?
No, it's my inhaler.
Inhaler? Inhaler, is it? I have a son about your age. Wait, Jamie. He has asthma. I know what his inhaler is. You have asthma, do you? That's not an inhaler, is it?
That's my inhaler.
What is your name, son? Eamon. Well, Eamon. My son, Jamie. I see his inhaler all the time. That does not look like his inhaler. Eamon. So do you want to tell me what it is? Eamon.
It's for vape, Catholic.
Your vape. Now, tell me, Eamon, do we know the effects of these vape?
No, we don't,
No, we don't. That's right. Eamon, do you know what might happen when you're 40? Eamon, you could drop dead. You could drop dead at 30. You could even drop dead at 20. Do you want to drop dead at 20?
The way you're getting on, I could drop dead right now.
You better think before you use those. They're dangerous. My son would never do that.
Excusez-moi, Eamon. You draw, yes?
Oui.
Artist? Yes. You know, French, we love the art, you know. I think it's incredible. We have the Louvre. J'adore la Louvre.
You have a Louvre?
Ah ouais, j'adore. I go to the Louvre all the time with my friends.
I don't really go with my friends. I just kind of go to Louvre by myself.
My favourite colour is blue.
Thanks, Ralph. So back to this piece. Can we see it now?
I can, right?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Right.
Oh my God!
Oh my God.
I can't see.
I can't see nothing.
Is this lift actually stuck or something? Because we've been in here forever. And I have somewhere to be, okay? I need to make like a trampoline and bounce out of here.
You need to make like a trampoline bounce. Corey is on in half an hour. I need to make like a tree and leaf.
We are stuck?
Right, let me translate. Nous sommes stuck ici dans l'ascenseur. Dans l'ascenseur.
Lift, no go down.
C'est simple. Nous sautons.
Why are you dancing?
Sautons.
Do you like a wee boogie now?
No.
You don't like? French weirdo. It's so strange. Still here.
I'm French. Typical.
French, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Jesus. Are you getting hungry?
Okay, I could go for a wee munch, so I could now.
How much longer are we going to be in this lift?
Well, I reckon someone will be here soon enough, like.
Because if they don't come, We need to figure out which one of us is going to get eaten.
You're not actually talking about eating someone, are you?
So that was our showcase of all the ideas that we about me not being able to
Freaked out my microphone.
I would also like to thank Amanda, if you'd like to come up. Amanda is a writer, performer, director, and they were in for the last 2 days to help shape the pieces and also very generously perform them. So I'd like to say thank you to them.
And mostly we want to thank our writers.
Should we get them?
Yeah.
Would you like to come up for a big
fun.